And Coach, good evening and welcome back.
Jerry, it's good to be back. It's been a little over 10 months, just about 10 months since we've last done a game, and it seemed like 10 years at times, but it's good to be back here in the booth with you doing Raider hockey games.
Well, I'll tell you, I talked with Coach Ed Latham of the Red Raiders. You talked with Coach Ed Latham. He is in for a challenge this year.
I tell you, this is the youngest team that I can recall. I know since I've done hockey with you and I've been coaching a long time, this is the youngest Red Raider team that I can remember. I mean, some of these guys are so young, they've got a 9:30 curfew. So this is 2 seniors, a lot of juniors, sophomores, freshmen, even an 8th grader on this year's squad. So we can expect, talking to the coaching staff, a lot of good things. We can expect a lot of things that are going to be kind of weird.
He's centering Kyle Cameron on the left, Jared Bradish on the right, Danny Miller, Evan LaBarge on defense, Leroy Swamp in the net. We're underway. Miller with a puck for Massena. Headman meant for Cameron, too far, going to go all the way down the ice. And we have our first whistle and an icing call against the Raiders.
You mentioned Danny Miller on defense and Evan LaBarge. Those two are going to see a lot of action right now. Danny's paired with Jacob Whitcup, number 8 out there, 5'10", 175-pound freshman. And we'll see a lot of number 23 for sure.
Whitcup, I've heard that name before. I think his dad played for you, did he not?
Yes, he did.
Around the boards it goes to the blue line, out to center ice. Tubolino racing in after it. And into the corner it goes. Tubolino centering pass in front. Oh, and a misfire by Cameron. He was wide open. Left side of the net and just misfired on it. Would have been a sure goal had he connected. Nice pass from Tubolino. Puck cleared back out to center ice. Miller gathers it in at his own blue line for the Red Raiders. Danny Miller now, headman pass. Up ice to Jared Bradish, another newcomer. He takes a hard check from Alex Bay's Skylar Bogart. The puck goes deep inside Alex Bay territory. In behind the net, David Rogers, centering pass, in front, hit the post, the rebound, and somehow it goes wide. Great opportunity for Sean Petrie. Back to the point. At the point, it's Evan LaBarge dumping it in the corner. Here comes Jeremy Hadler. He's taken away from the puck, and down the ice it goes as Hadler just bodied off the puck. Alex Bay will ice it. So the Raiders with 2 golden opportunities early in this game.
Oh, Sean Petrie set up beautifully by David Rogers. Rogers taking the puck in behind the goal line and spotted Petrie all alone. Petrie hit the goal post on his first shot, then tried to jam the rebound past goaltender Fountain, but Fountain slid across and blocked, but a great opportunity.
Rogers will take the face-off for Massena. Wins the draw, kicks it back to the point to Pat Horan, another famous hockey name in Massena. And the puck in the circle, stolen by Alex Bay. They'll dump it down the ice. Into the Massena zone, now it bounces away, and finally it's dumped in by Skylar Bogart. After it, Evan LaBarge whips it along the boards, bounce pass to the blue line, not out of the zone, kept in by the Ghost. Back by the blue line, here's a shot by Bogart, fires it wide, puck in the corner, dumped in behind the net on the backhand. Trying to pick it up there is Murray Simons. Simons ridden off the play, puck along the boards and slides to center ice where Rogers gathers it in for Massena. He's bodied off the puck, right back the other way comes Alex Bay's Wagner. Wagner fires it in behind the net. LaBarge back for the Raiders, picking it up. He'll dump it around the boards for Hadler. Hadler bangs it ahead, steps by the check. Here's Hadler, nice headman pass on the wing to Petrie. Petrie takes it in left side, makes a dipsy-doodle move in the middle. He's got some room. He's all by himself, though, as the Raiders changing lines. And finally, it's knocked away and dumped to the Massena blue line. Trickles back inside Massena territory, where Danny Miller runs back to pick it up. Miller flips it along the boards, moving it to Adam Smith, loses in front, and Smoke has to make his first save on the pad. Raiders clear the puck around the boards, not out, however. Kept in by the Ghosts. Puck just moving around. Finally, it's stolen away, and here comes Eddie Slade. Slade's the 8th grader on this team, gets by the check. Here's Eddie Slade in behind, centering pass right across the goal mouth. Nobody could get a stick on it. Nice move by Slade. Back to the blue line. Here's a shot knocked down by the D and cleared in behind the net. Good defensive play by Caputo. He'll move it around the boards and out to center ice. Racing back to pick it up. The Raiders turn it around. Adam Smith. Smith drops to his defense. They move it around the horn. Ian Maxwell to the Alex Bay blue line, gets it right back again. Maxwell, big, tall, rangy defenseman. He'll try to flip it ahead. Slade trying to go by the check, and he gets through. Centers it, but it's knocked away, and right back comes Alex Bay. They'll dump to the Massena line. It's stopped there by Maxwell. He'll turn it around, back in his own zone, flips it ahead to center ice, knocked down by a purple Ghost. That's Devin Simons. He'll leave it, but Massena's going to pick it up and dump it back in the zone. Adam Smith, he wants off, and the Raiders will make a change. Racing out there is Matt Hatch as Massena gets their last line on the ice, so all the forwards now have seen ice time in this hockey game. Oh, a hard check thrown behind by Zeppi Ogene. Ogene for Massena gets tied up, double teamed, still fights for the puck. Finally, coming in to pick it up, the Raiders have Supernal. Back to the point. Here's a shot, Labarge right on the save made by Robert Fountain. I'll tell you what, this line's not big, but boy, can they scoot.
Raiders rolling over 4 lines. This last line centered by Matt Supernal with Zepi Ogene on one side, Matt Hatch on the other. Prior to that, Trent Thomas, Adam Smith, and Eddie Slade comprising one line, and Slade down that left side, great rush. We mentioned David Rogers, Sean Petrie, and Jeremy Hadler, and then A.J. Tubolino along with Brad Ish and Cameron.
Tubolino wins the draw, takes it into the corner, in behind the net, trying to body his way through. He's taken out of the play. Cameron digs in and picks up the loose puck. Cameron back, it goes to Tubolino. Back to the point, takes it high slot. Tubolino's going to drop it in the corner for Cameron. Can he get to it? He cannot. Picked up by Cole on the defense, and he'll dump it down the ice. I do believe that will go far enough for icing. As it crosses the red line, the whistle blows, and we'll take it back in Alex Bay territory. 11:06 left in the first period. On the IceHawks custom screen printing scoreboard, it's 0-0.
And this young club, Jerry, I think it's to their advantage opening up with Alex Bay instead of their usual travel trip down to Western New York to playing clubs from Buffalo. This will give them some confidence, I do believe. And I'm not saying this game's in the bag for Massena, but
here's the face-off off the draw, back to the point. Whitcup dumps it in the corner. Picking it up is Hagen for Alex Bay. Hagen will flip it on the wing. Hard check thrown by Whitcup, and he'll dump the puck back into the corner. Racing back after it is Ben Cole for the Bay. He'll flip it around the boards looking for his forward Bogart. He's being bothered, and right back in the corner it goes. Massena trying to pinch in, keep him in the zone. Here's Whitcup again, trying to flip it in the corner. Has it knocked away, and it bounces off the boards and out to center ice. Jake Whitcup back after it. He'll circle back to his own blue line. Over on the other side, backhand pass go to Cameron. Can't quite catch up. Puck dumped around, and finally it's picked up by Ben Cole for the Bay. He'll flip to the Massena line, knocked away. Dumped ahead, and right back it goes into Alex Bay territory. Tubolino trying to chase in. The defenseman Hagen gets there first, rips it around the boards, but it's intercepted by Sean Petrie. Petrie steps by the check, takes it from behind the net. Into the corner it goes. Here's Petrie. He's got room, trying to slide it through to Miller, pinching in from the point. Miller in behind the net, makes the move by one defenseman, circles, takes a short side shot. The save made. Rebound. Whistle blew for some reason. Goaltender Fountain had dropped the rebound side of the net, but the whistle blew.
this line of David Rogers centering Sean Petrie and Jeremy Hadler is probably the biggest forward line size-wise. They go left to right, 6'2", 5'11", and 6 foot. The Raiders not overly big, but this is their biggest line.
And they're pretty nice with a puck, too, these guys. They can handle it. Here's a chance in the circle. Raiders control. Hadler back to the point. Cross, D to Miller. His shot through traffic is blocked. Coming in front is Petrie, digging it, takes it into the corner. Rogers, rather, I should say, and we have a whistle as there's an injured player. That is the player who blocked the shot, Josh Thompson, and he's still down on the ices. Miller got a lot of that one.
Nice setup, Sean Petrie doing work along the boards on that right side. And
as the Raiders make a line change here, Miller back of the point with Pat Horan. Face-off deep in Bay territory. It'll be Ryan Loy out there with Austin Wagner and Brandon Hollis for the Ghosts. Off the draw, puck sits in the circle, back to the point. Miller, quick shot, knocked down. It's going to come free, bouncing to Smith in the corner. Smith tries the center, behind the net it goes. Raiders trying to control it. That's Eddie Slade, centering pass. Smith knocked away, back to the point. Kept in there by Pat Horan in the corner. Eddie Slade gets tied up, escapes the check, gets tied up again. Now he's double teamed. The puck squirts free. Back to the blue line. Horan pinches in, can't keep it in. Puck stumped down the ice. Going to come right in on Leroy Swamp. Icing waved off. He'll leave it for Horan. Right side. Horan slides it ahead. Out to the blue line, but not out to center ice. Dumped back in behind the net. Picked up there by Pat Horan again. Poke checked away. It'll come to Miller. Miller starts out right side. Miller flipping it ahead along the boards. And the D-to-D pass, and they move it up to Slade in on the off wing, trying to slide it through. It's knocked away by the Purple Ghost defense, and back they come the other way. Into the Massena zone, off a stick, into the corner, racing for it. Ian Maxwell, he'll flip it on the wing for Matt Hatch, who dumps it to center ice. Raiders poke check it ahead as Zepi Ogene got a piece of it, but got a little bit too much of it, and all the way down the ice it goes for the icing call.
Trent Thomas, we talked about him, number 22 out there, a newcomer, just a freshman. Very pleasant surprise. Coach Latham, he loves his work ethic. Freshman mistake out there, puck inside his own zone. The puck's coming loose. He didn't know whether to play the puck or the man. Forgot to do neither. The puck went right by him.
Matt Supernal takes the faceoff and wins it. Flipped into the corner. On the defense, it's Evan Labarge. He drops it behind the net. Raiders stick handling. Labarge moving it ahead. Nice headman pass to Hatch. He'll break it out of there, left wing side. From the red line, he'll dump it deep. Puck in behind the net. After it is Jimmy Hagan. He's taken out of the play. Puck bounces in the corner to Zeppi. Zeppi OG, nice pass back to the point. Labarge cranks it, doesn't get through. Now chasing in after it is Ian Maxwell. He steps into the circle, dumps it behind the net. Stepping by the check. Raiders move it back to the point. Here's some room. Maxwell decides not to shoot. He'll flip it in the corner. Nice pass to Hatch. Hatch goes behind the net. Raiders moving the puck around nicely. It'll go to Zeppi Ogene back to the point. Here's the pass, bouncing off a leg in the corner. Racing after it there is Matt Hatch. He'll tie up his man, and the puck clear to the blue line. Labarge can't keep it in as it's trickled out to center ice. Back after it, Supernall. He'll drop it to Maxwell. On the other side, Maxwell's headman goes by everybody, and he'll trickle in on net, and Fountain will pick it up as the Raiders change lines and get the Tubolino line back out there. Here's the puck to the Massena line, picked up there by the Raiders defenseman Alan Borden, another newcomer. Most of them are newcomers to this team. Here comes Miller, stick handling, gets by one, by two. Miller steps in front, shot, and he rolled off the end of his stick before he could get the shot off. He's going to leave it, though. Here's an opportunity in front. Tubolino, score! A.J. Tubolino gets the Raiders' first goal. It's 1-0 Massena.
Captain A.J. Tubolino, beautiful job. The play all started with Danny Miller rushing down that right side, shifting to another gear, blew by the defenseman, cut in right onto the goaltender on Fountain. Fountain made the save. The puck went in the corner, and I'm not sure if that was who picked up that assist, but a great pass out to A.J. Tubolino. It might have been Kyle Cameron or Bradish. We'll wait and see.
Tubolino made no mistake, right off the end of his stick, right in the net. And the Raiders lead it 1-0. Here's a shot. Tubolino again, and the save is made on the pads by Robert Fountain. Puck to the blue line. It trickles out to center ice. Picked up on the defense by the Red Raiders. They'll move it ahead. Tubolino overskated that time. Puck slides finally free. And here comes Alex Bay into the Massena zone. It's Dustin Robbins. Robbins has the puck knocked away. Bouncing along the blue line. Back into the corner. Raiders pick it up. That's Alan Borden. He'll drop it to Miller on the other side. Danny Miller with it. Headman pass. Raiders trying to break for it, but it's knocked down at the blue line by Josh Thompson. He'll try to dump it in the Massena zone in behind the net. Stopped by Leroy Swamp. Danny Miller's there. Miller, headman pass all the way out to center ice, where it's picked up again by Thompson for Alex Bay. To the Massena line. Knocked away there. Bouncing around at the red line, finally picking it up is David Rogers. He'll take it in. He's got a man breaking in Hadler. A little bit too hard of a pass. Hadler will have to chase it down. Centering pass deflected right on, nicely by Petrie, but Fountain is there to make the save. 6:05 left, first period, and on the IceHawks custom screen printing scoreboard, we have a 1-0 Massena lead.
And that first goal of the 204-205 season, Captain A.J. Tubolino with a great pass from Kyle Cameron, and Danny Miller also picking up an assist.
Off the draw, puck in the high slot. Here's a backhander shot just wide. Great backhander by Petrie, just missed. He'll get the puck again behind the net. He's got Hadler in front. Hadler tied up, couldn't get the shot off. It comes back to the blue line. Kept in there by Jake Whitcup. Shot, sharp angle, goes wide. Puck around on the other side, and it's backhanded out to center ice by Austin Wagner for the Bay. Trickles into the Massena zone. Back after it is David Rogers for the Raiders. He'll drop it off, but it's knocked away by Wagner. Wagner in the corner. Rogers takes him out of the play. Raiders break out the other way. Here comes Massena, left wing side. Petrie, he'll dump it by the defense. Trickles right in, and goaltender Fountain will cover up and hold on for the face-off.
Talked to Coach Steve Besaw before the game. This is the Purple Ghosts' first game of the year. They've had several scrimmages. They tied IHC 2-2. They lost a one-goal game or scrimmage to OFA Blue Devils and knocked off the TI Vikings 5-2. So he expects good things out of this club.
Trent Thomas takes the face-off. Here's a trickling shot right on. Save, goes in the net. And I have no idea who's going to get credit for that one, but the Raiders take a 2-0 lead as it bounced off an Alex Bay defenseman, then the goalie, and into the net.
I think it might go to number 19. We'll see Adam Smith for the Raiders. We'll wait and see. It bounced off the goaltender Fountain, and as it was trickling behind him, it wasn't going to cross the line. He turned and searched for it. As he did, he knocked it in with the heel of the knob of his stick, and the Raiders up 2-0. I'm not sure, but I think I think Adam Smith. We'll wait and sure for the official announcement. Smith or maybe Trent Thomas.
Probably who the last Raider to touch the puck will get credit for the goal. But the Raiders lead it 2-0 now. Off the draw. Puck comes to the Massena blue line. Knocked ahead. Eddie Slade gets credit
I
for
was
it.
wrong on both of them.
Thomas gets the assist. So the 8th grader, Eddie Slade, gets his first varsity goal. Can we say the easy way?
Well, he'll take them. I'll tell you, if he can get 50 like that, he'll take them all.
Absolutely. Raiders lead it 2-0 and control the puck. They'll slide it into the Alex Bay zone, right back out to center ice. Here comes Murray Simons, gets by a check, takes it across and loses the puck. Raiders turn it around. Back out to center ice. Here comes Trent Thomas in on the off wing. He's going to crank it up. His shot in behind the net. Bouncing around out toward the blue line, kept in by the Massena defenseman Maxwell. Now it's knocked away, bounces out to center ice, picked up right back by the Raiders. Zepi Ogene, here's Ogene, nice little move there, takes it in behind the net. Ogene gets knocked down, gets back up again, stays with it, has it poke checked away, slides in front, Supernault, centering pass, Ogene backhander, doesn't get it off, and the puck goes back out to center ice off an Alex Bay stick. Into the Massena zone, racing for it is Ian Maxwell. He can't get to it, but his partner Evan Labarge does. Labarge flips it ahead, and out to center ice it goes. And I think we're going to have our first penalty of the game. It's going to be an obstruction interference against the Red Raiders, I believe.
Looks like maybe Ian Maxwell. We'll wait and see. The player doesn't realize it yet, but let's see who's coming to the box.
Yep, it is.
It is Ian Maxwell. They're calling for an interference. Second Raider goal at the 9:38 mark. His first varsity goal. Eddie Slade with the assist from Trent Thomas. And Robert Fountain should pick up poor goaltender. As he was turning, he knocked it in with the heel of his stick.
So the Raiders down a man here, and they control the puck momentarily. A.J. Tubolino, and he'll dump it down the ice. This was an area of concern for Massena coach Ed Latham, his special team, so we'll see.
Yeah, they've got room for improvement on both the power and the killing.
Right now the Raiders are killing pretty well as Tubolino finally has it knocked away, and back out to center ice comes Skylar Bogart. Knocked away from him. Bounces up off the ice surface and into the stands, and will face it off. 1:06 left in the man advantage. 4 minutes even in the first period. On the IceHawks custom screen printing scoreboard, it's Massena 2, Alex Bay no score.
Coach Latham having Sean Petrie. He's making a change now. He's bringing out, Adam Smith and Jeremy Hadler out there up front.
Off the draw it comes to Miller, who's back there with Labarge, and Miller just finds the hole and dumps it all the way down the ice. Stopped by Fountain behind the net. He'll leave it for Josh Thompson, his defenseman. Thompson feeds it ahead to forward Bogart. He'll move it out to center ice. Gets away from him. Here is Labarge dropping it to Miller. Miller waits, and then dumps it down the ice. Back in the zone it goes. Hadler coming in, trying to come up with it. Doesn't quite get there. And the puck cleared back out to center ice. Here comes Willis, knocked away from him. He gets it back again with about 30 seconds left of the man advantage. Here's Willis stepping by the check, dumping it in the corner. Racing after it as Whitcup takes it behind. Here's Whitcup looking to bounce it off the boards to the blue line, not out of the zone. Kept in. Here's an opportunity for Alex Bay as they move it from D to D. Massena in the box. They move it around the horn. Here's a sharp angle shot. Leroy makes the stop. Picked up by Whitcup. Nice little bounce pass to himself. And the Raiders come up with 10 seconds left and move it out to center ice. That was the only time Alex Bay was able to actually set up in the Massena zone. They'll dump it back in Massena territory as the penalty time runs out. The Raiders kill their first penalty of the year off. Now the puck knocked away in behind the Massena net. Miller throws a check. Puck squirts around the boards. Cameron there. I think we got another penalty. Danny Miller's going to pick up an interference.
Hitting from behind, I do believe. We'll wait and see. But the Raiders are going to go back. Referee Larry Legault making the call. It is Captain Danny Miller who was questioning what did I do wrong, but the man in the striped shirt said, whatever you did, get in there and serve a minute and a half. So.
Well, for those of you listeners who have been watching college hockey, you know that they're calling the game a lot differently this year. They're trying to do away with all this clutching and grabbing, and it's been tough on the colleges so far. We'll see what happens here. Raiders killing off another penalty. In the corner it goes. Trying to tie up the man is Pat Horan, doing an admirable job. Now there are two purple ghosts in there, and Horan keeps the puck pinned, and we have a whistle and a face-off.
And we're back out there with the Petrie and Tubolino up front, and we've got Labarge and Patrick Horn, the other defenseman, in this penalty-killing situation.
Simons takes the face-off, wins it back to the point. The defenseman moves it D to D. Here's the shot, way wide. Puck comes to Evan Labarge, looks for the distance, and it's kept in nicely by the Alex Bay defenseman momentarily, but Tubolino finds the range, dumps it down the ice. Here come the Bay, back out again, all the way by the Massena D and into the Massena zone. We got actually a 2-on-3 as the puck goes in behind the net to Wagner. Wagner has it knocked away from him. Raiders' Pat Horan picks it up, lifts it, down the ice it goes. About 45 seconds left in the man advantage. 2-0 Massena on the IceHawks custom screen printing scoreboard into the final 2 minutes of the first period. Puck stolen away momentarily by Rogers, but now right back comes Alex Bay. Oh, nice move there at the blue line. Here's an opportunity for Hagen, but he's finally knocked off the puck. Back to the point it goes. Shots blocked. Out to center ice it comes. Right back in, off a stick to the blue line. Into the zone comes Alex Bay. Skyler Bogart taken away nicely by Evan Labarge. Labarge circles behind his own net, looks, waits, lifts it high in the air. Down the ice it goes with about 10 seconds left in the man advantage. Devin Simons with it now. Bangs it off the boards. Did he clear the zone? Apparently he didn't. There's a puck dump back in the corner. The Raiders have killed off the second penalty as Danny Miller's back on the ice, steals the puck. Here's Miller. Oh, nice move out of the penalty box. Takes it in and finally has a poke checked away. He'll have to go after it in the corner. Steps by the check, steps in front, shot. Scores a goal! Danny Miller! And the Raiders go up 3-0 on a one-man show by Miller unassisted.
Danny Miller stepping out of the penalty box and found himself in possession of the puck just over the red line. Danced into the offensive zone, put a couple moves on the Alex Bay defenseman. The puck went down in that right corner. Miller went in and dug it out and looked like he was going to go behind the net. He had everyone fooled, even goaltender Fountain, because he looked to his right. Miller put the brakes on, came back, stepped out on the short side, and stuffed one right through the 5-hole. And the Raiders up 3-0 with 1:04 left in this first period.
Off the draw. Puck bouncing around in the circle. Finally, it's picked up by the Raiders, and across the blue line it goes. Here's the shot, and that goes wide. Puck into the corner. Back toward the blue line. Here's a dump again in the corner by Wickup. In behind. Bouncing around. Short side shot. Scores another goal. And that is going to be, who is that?
That's
Trent
22.
Thomas.
Trent Thomas. And that was, I tell you, goaltender Fountain still hasn't seen that puck. Thomas swooping in behind the net and just kind of swiped the puck off of the Alex Bay defenders, walked right out on that right side, and in one motion fired a low bullet right along the ice. And goaltender Trent Thomas, Robert Fountain, is looking to his right while Trent Thomas is stepping out on the right side, and the Raiders lead 4-0.
Of course, we've had some firsts here tonight. Obviously, we're going to, because a lot of these kids, this is their first varsity activity for the Raiders. Here's a puck in front, shot, and it's in behind the net. First really good bona fide attempt for Alex Bay, and that comes from Aaron Beebe on their fourth line. Raiders clear it to the blue line, dumped right back into the Massena zone. 23 seconds left, Raiders up 4-0 in the first period. Here come the Raiders moving out to center ice. The headman pass comes to Zeppi. OG, nice pass to Supernal. Supernal, though, is ridden into the boards, trying to follow up on the play as Matt Hatch makes a good move. He'll go back to the point. Labarge, his drive, scores a goal. Evan Labarge, and the Raiders go up 5-0.
They're coming fast and furious. The third and fourth goal came 20 seconds apart, and that one coming with just 5 seconds left in the period. The Raiders all over the Alex Bay Purple Ghost. The puck deep in the corner to the right of Fountain. They threw it back to Evan Labarge on that left point, and he one-timed about a 55-footer through a lot of traffic, and goaltender Robert Fountain never picked it up, and it went in over his right shoulder.
So the Raiders take a 5-0 lead. 5 seconds left in the period as the puck comes to the Massena blue line, and the buzzer will sound. So the Raiders have their way in the first period, scoring 5 unanswered goals, and they lead it on a score of 5-0. Want to take a moment to thank the sponsors making this season. He also does a lot of work. Here comes A.J. Tubolino in on the off wing. He's got some room, takes it in behind. Tubolino circles, goes back to the point. Here's Miller, looks, flips it into the corner for Cameron. Cameron lets it go through to Tubolino in the left corner. Tubolino backhand pass to Cameron. Here's Kyle, back toward the blue line, to the point, kept in there and dumped in the corner by Whitcup. And it's knocked around the boards, and will it come out to center ice? Miller, did he keep it in? He could not. And chasing back after it is Jared Bradish. Headman, and a nice one to Tubolino, but he has stood up at the blue line by Ben Cole. Nice check by Cole. Here come the Bay, trying to move it out. Do not clear the zone as Cameron steps in front of the pass, turns it around out by the blue line, winds up, shot glove high, save made by Fountain, and he's going to hold on for the faceoff. Just underway here in the second period. Coach's Corner scoreboard says Massena 5 and Alex Bay no score.
Good solid check just inside the Bay blue line as Big Ben Cole, only a sophomore, put a look on Captain A.J. Tubolino.
It will be the Garlock line out there taking the face-off against David Rogers and Jeremy Hadler. Centering pass, trying to get it to Petrie, but it got by as Petrie was tied up, and the puck's cleared out to center ice. Right back to the blue line, and here comes Hadler, poke checking it by the defenseman. Puck cleared back toward the blue line. Hadler knocks it off the boards. The Bay defenseman falls on it. Now it's stolen away by Rogers. He's got room. He shoots, score, rebound net, and it's a goal. And the Raiders go up 6-0, as I believe it'll be Sean Petrie getting the goal.
It will be Sean Petrie. David Rogers breaking in on that right side. There was a scrum along the boards, and Jeremy Hadler knocked it free. Rogers picked it up. It was a 2-on-1. He and Petrie walked right in. Rogers took the shot. Goaltender Fountain made the save. The rebound back out, and the defenseman could not tie up Sean Petrie. He didn't get a lot on it. Just kind of hit his stick and rebounded back behind goaltender Fountain. But good work by Hadler along the boards, and Rogers and Petrie going to the net.
So the Raiders take a 6-0 lead. And the bouncing puck comes bouncing free to Sean Petrie. Has it poke checked away, and it's dumped into the Massena zone. After it is Alan Borden. Borden gets checked. The puck bouncing free, but Borden comes up with it, steals it, flips it ahead out to the neutral zone. Picked up there by Josh Thompson. He'll dump it right back in. In behind the net. Raiders pick it up again. Try to move it around the boards. That's Evan Labarge. Nice headman pass to Petrie. Petrie down the left wing side. He'll dump from the red line. Apparently he didn't quite make it to the red line, and icing will be the call, and it'll go back into the Massena zone. Yes, sir. After 2 periods, OFA leading Malone 3-1. Thank you, sir. Good job. Incidentally, we want to welcome our new engineer for this season, A.J. Daniels. Will be turning the dials back of the studio and keeping us updated on other games, so we appreciate that. Thanks, A.J. Off the faceoff in the Massena zone. Raiders control and clear it out to center ice. Here comes Eddie Slade, 2-on-1. Headman pass goes to Smith. Smith shot, save made, rebound. Bounces over the net on another save. Puck bouncing in the corner, and in behind the net it goes. Picked up by Slade again. He'll drop it into the other corner. Smith is out. Trent Thomas, rather, is after it. Thomas, ridden into the boards, puck to the blue line. Miller keeps it in. He'll dump it in the corner. Puck around on the other side. Hollis trying to clear the zone, cannot do it. Bounces to the top of the circle. Finally, it's poke checked out to center ice. Miller is there to flip it right back, and here comes Massena the other way into the zone. Picked up by the Alex Bay defense, bouncing along the blue line, finally out to center ice off the stick of Hollis. Dumped right back inside Alex Bay territory as the Raiders make a line change and get that Supernaw line out there. Puck clear to the blue line. Out. No, it's kept in at the point nicely. Now it's dumped out to center ice and will roll on end all the way down. Will Miller get there? He will before it crosses the red line and pick it up. Here comes Miller out of the zone, flipping it ahead. Raiders clear it out to center ice. It's off a skate to the Alex Bay line. Trying to pick it up, and it's dumped back to the Massena blue line. Miller again for the Raiders. Danny Miller looks. Headman pass right on the tape. Here comes Supernal. Bounces it by the check. Lost his edge. Puck goes into the corner. Picked up by the Bay defense. They don't clear it as Hatch gets a piece of it. Tries to drop it back to the point, but it's out to center ice. Evan Labarge flips it over on the other side. It goes to Pat Horan, who dumps it across the blue line. Here's the puck picked up again by Matt Hatch. He's ridden out of the play, and it's on the defensive stick. Jimmy Hagan with it for the Bay. Off the boards to the blue line. Trickles out to center ice. Raiders regroup. Hatch after it. He'll backhand it. Knocked away from him into the Massena zone. Labarge is there for the Raiders. Labarge bangs it off the boards to Supernal. Just tries to flip it ahead, but it's intercepted. There's a battle right at the Massena blue line for the puck. Squirts free into the Massena zone. The Raiders defense is there to pick it up and clear it out to center ice as Pat Horn makes a good play. His headman knocked away. Back into the zone comes Alex Bay into the Massena zone. And here's a shot, and Leroy has to make a save. Leroy Swamp, that's his first save in about 10 minutes of playing time, and he sticks it up over the ice, over the glass into the wall.
The sixth Raider goal at the 1:08 mark, Sean Petrie from David Rogers with a lot of work but no assist on the stat sheet going to Jeremy Hadler. But that's a Raiders' 6th goal, 6-0 Massena.
Face off inside Massena territory. A.J. Tubolino's line back out. A.J. wins the faceoff. Danny Miller takes it in behind the net. Here's Miller skating it ahead. He lost the puck. Here's a chance for the Bay in front. They got a man free. The shot. He fires it wide. Good opportunity for Garlock, but he just fired it wide. Another shot, and Leroy's going to hold on. Massena a little sloppy in their own end that time as Danny Miller coughed up the puck, and that gave the Bay a chance, but they fired it wide.
Yeah, and a great pass. Jameson Wills, who found Andrew Garlock all alone in front, and Garlock whistled one just about 6 inches wide of that right goalpost.
Off the faceoff, puck out top of the circle, bounces side of the net, picked up there on the defense by Jake Whitcup. He'll turn it behind the net, steps by a check. Here's Whitcup flipping it ahead, and the Raiders move it out to Tubolino. Tubolino down the ice. He's got Bradish with him, trying to slide it through. Tubolino ends up in the net, and we'll have, as the net's knocked off, a face-off. And I'm not sure if he was shoved into the net or it was his momentum that carried him there. That'll depend on where the face-off will be.
I know A Raging Bull, the movie, was about boxing, but all I can think of when A.J. Tubolino goes down that ice is a raging bull, or running the bulls in Spain. He's just a wild man going down there. Sometimes in control, sometimes out of control.
Off the face-off, puck back to the blue line, bounces in the corner. We've got the Rogers line out from Massena. Oh, Hadler is upended, and the puck squirts free to the defense behind the net. To the Massena line, kept in at the point. Here's a shot bouncing through, doesn't make it. Here's a shot again. That's Rogers, and it doesn't get through. Bouncing puck in front, Petrie banging for it. Bounces off his stick. Finally, it's poke-checked away, and the Bay will break it out of there. To the Massena line it goes, knocked away at the blue line. And back after it is David Rogers on the Massena red line. Flips it ahead to center ice to Petrie, who does a shift. Nice headman pass to Hadler. Hadler takes it across all by himself as the Raiders change. Hadler in the corner, looking for somebody to pass to. There's nobody, and the puck knocked away. Clear to the blue line and just across to center ice. By the Ghosts, he'll circle back and bang it off a leg out to center ice. Evan Labarge is there to dump it right back in Alex Bay territory. Raiders lead at 6-0. We're in the second period. Puck back to the point. Here's Alan Borden's shot. Knocked down, bounces in the corner. Trent Thomas trying to come up with it. He can. It bounces around to the blue line, trickles out to center ice. Labarge picks it up there. Here's Evan looking for the headman. Thomas takes it across, dumps it. It goes off a defenseman's stick behind the net, and he'll backhand it. Now there's going to be a foot race for the puck, and picking it up is Dustin Robbins. He lost it off the end of his stick. Goes bouncing into the Massena zone. Back after it there is Ian Maxwell. Looks for the headman. He's got somebody on the wing. Out to center ice. It's Eddie Slade. Slade flips it inside Alex Bay territory. Bouncing puck right back to him. He tries to feather it through. It bounces front. Slade shot and the save made by Fountain as the puck somehow found his stick again. Back to the blue line. Miller steps in. Here's Miller. Steps by the check. Takes it in behind the net. Looking in front. Here's a pass right across the goal mouth. Nobody there to put a stick on it. And back to center ice it comes. Poke checked away at the red line by Ian Maxwell. Now the puck dumped into the Massena zone. Chasing in after Wagner, centering pass, knocked down in front, backhander, save made, and a good one. Best one of the night by Swamp. Puck back to the blue line. Here's a chance for the Bay. They score a goal. And a nice shot there taken by Ryan Loy as the Raiders running around in their own end. Coughed the puck up a couple of times. First time, Leroy Swamp made the save. Second time, it's in the net. It's 6-1.
That's right, Jerry. Running around is what happened. Raiders thinking offense instead of defense in their own defensive zone, and they got burnt on it. Ryan Loy, nice shot, probably from about 20, 25 feet out, right in that slot area, and just ripped one to the top left-hand corner and beat goaltender Swamp over to the glove side. But nice shot.
In the zone it goes again, Massena territory. Puck cleared around the boards by the Raiders. They just bang it out to center ice. Zepi Ogene. It'll trickle into the Alex Bay zone. Back to pick it up is the defenseman for the Bay, Ben Cole. Good-sized kid. Clears to the blue line, not out of the zone. Here's a drive from the point, and that's wide. That shot taken by Matt Supernall. Didn't get much on it for Massena. Puck in the corner, Alex Bay zone. Raiders dump it side of the net, and it's covered up by goaltender Robert Fountain. He'll hold on for the face-off. 7:56 remaining, second period. Coach's Corner scoreboard says Massena 6, Alex Bay 1.
And that one Bay goal coming just moments ago, 6:31 mark of the second period. Ryan Loy from Ben Cole and Jim Hagan. A great shot from about 22 feet out.
Off the face-off, Raiders control. Matt Hatch with it. He'll dump it in behind the net for Zepi Ogene. Ogene circles. Back to the point. Evan Labarge trying to go to the other point. It's dumped into the corner. Raiders in behind the net. Drop by Hatch. Zeppi to Hatch again. Circles behind, steps by the check. He's got room, short side attempt, and it's blocked. I don't know if the goalie blocked it or a defenseman, but the Bay picks it up. They look to move it out. Labarge pinches in for Massena. Can't keep it in the zone. Puck will be dumped down the ice by Alex Bay, and that'll be an icing call against the Ghosts. And we're just about at the midway point of the hockey game with the Raiders leading 6-1 on the Coach's Corner scoreboard.
One thing this game is lacking is a lot of hitting, Jerry, and that plays to Massena's advantage with this young, and they're kind of a small squad. It'll be interesting to see when they run into some heavy conflict out there, how they handle, how they adapt to the heavy hitting.
Of course, Alex Bay, not a very old team either, and they're not very big. Off the face-off, puck in behind the net. Raiders control. Here's a short side shot by Cameron, and that's blocked. He circles, another short side attempt as the puck comes to Bradish. Bradish takes it in behind the net. He'll flip it to Tubolino, who lies it back to the point. Here's an opportunity. Whitcup shot, save made, rebound in the net, and the Raiders pick up another goal. I think Cameron will get the goal, and Jacob Whitcup will get the assist on a nice shot from the point.
Kyle Cameron, and I think probably A.J. Tubolino will also pick up an assist. They were buzzing that line of Bradish and Cameron and Tubolino, buzzing around there. A couple times they tried to jam it in that short side. Tubolino got it back to the point. The shot was taken. Fountain made the save, and Kyle Cameron picked up the rebound from about 8 feet out and slammed it by goaltender Fountain.
So what's the best thing to do when the opposition scores on you, Coach?
You come right back and take that momentum away from them by scoring quickly.
And right off the face-off, the Bay takes it across offside, so we'll have a face-off. Raiders up 7-1 here in the second period. First game of the year, and it's always nice to have that first one at home, too.
It is. Don't have to travel, and the Raiders look sharp. And the other thing you're concerned about in a game like this as a coaching staff, do they continue to play their systems and not get individual? And they're, so far in the second period, they're moving the puck well.
Off the face, puck dumped deep. David Rogers. You got to like this line. Rogers, Hadler, and Petrie. Boy, do they move that puck well. Here comes the Bay out to center ice. Intercepted by Miller. He tries to flip it ahead, just rolls around. Finally, it's corralled and dumped into the Massena zone, and it actually went off Leroy Swamp, so icing is waved off. Miller with the puck. Now he waits for the Bay to pick him up, and he'll flip it around the backhand pass to Petrie, who looks. Petrie's head man goes off Rogers' skate, and it's dumped right back in the Massena zone. Swamp will stop the puck and leave it free in Maxwell. Maxwell turns, looks for his head man. Petrie hits him with it. Here's Petrie stepping by a check, trying to take it across. Did he? He did. Well, apparently he didn't. Offsides will be called. 5:56 left in the second period. Coach's Corner scoreboard says 7-1 in favor of Massena.
A couple of former players of mine, their son's picking up a goal and the assist. Kyle Cameron gets at 7:59 mark with Jake Whitcup picking up the assist. They didn't give the assist to A.J., but we'll give him one because that was great work on his part.
Here comes Massena right across the blue line. Trent Thomas, it's off the end of his stick. Picked up on the defense by Jim Hagan, but Thomas steals it from him. Takes it in the corner. Nice bounce pass to the point. Here's a shot, a bouncer from the point. I don't know if it was a shot or a pass. Ends up in the corner, side of the net. Here's an opportunity, front shot. Slade. He just fired it wide. Back to the point. Here's another shot. Rebound, another shot, and another save. Couple of shots there. Alan Borden getting the first one, and Trent Thomas the second one. Back to the point. Here's a bouncer right on. And so Robert Fountains had to make three here right in the last couple of seconds.
And when the Massena gets rolling out there, and they're using that 2-3-4 checking system, that allows the defenseman, the strong side defenseman, to pinch down with that third forward, backs him up, and the Bay just cannot figure it out.
Matt Supernall wins the draw. Back to the point. It's dumped in the corner by Maxwell for Massena. After it, there's Matt Hatch. Hatch out there with Supernall and Ogene. Back to the blue line, and it's dumped out to center ice. It'll roll into the Massena zone. Chasing in after it is Maxwell. He'll pick it up behind the net. He'll circle, looking for the pass. He throws it to the blue line. It's almost intercepted. Now the Raiders break back the other way. Here's an opportunity for Hatch down the left wing side. He's got Supernall. Steps by the check. Kind of lost his edge. He's tied up. But the puck comes back to the blue line. The shot is blocked, and a blast by Pat Horan. Blocked by a defenseman. Back to the other blue line. It's dumped back into the corner. Side of the net. And it's picked up by the Bay, and they'll just dump it out to center ice. Here comes an opportunity for Alex Bay. Wagner, nice pass, in front the shot. Save made, and a good one by Leroy Swamp. Nice pass play by Alex Bay to get off a good opportunity. But now it's back out to center ice. Puck stolen away again by Hagan. He'll just dump it in the Massena zone. Back after it, Pat Horan for the Raiders. Horan out of his own end. He'll skate by one. And has it knocked away. He was out of the zone and then kind of left the puck, and it was intercepted. Puck cleared around the boards, intercepted by Alex Bay. Here's an opportunity for Skylar Bogart. Comes out of the corner, tries to go back to the point. Here's a D-to-D. On the fly, the shot knocked down in front. The rebound fired just wide. Good opportunities. Raiders want to clear the puck, get the pressure off, and they do. In fact, they're going to break it free. Here comes Matt Supernaut. He's taken out of the play. Puck cleared, not out. Now it dumps out of the zone. Down the ice, went off somebody. So that means icing is waved off, and racing back after it is Maxwell. Maxwell flips it around the boards, intercepted there and re-intercepted by Massena. We're going to have a penalty, though, as Tubolino is going to pick up an interference call as he knocked Skylar Bogart down away from the puck.
Couple of a nice shift out there by that Supernal, O'Gene, and Hatch line. Matt Supernal sending Matt Hatch away on that left side with a great lead pass. Other side of the coin, the goaltender hasn't had much work for the Raiders, but goaltender Leroy Swamp made a nice save just a second ago off Devin Simons.
Off the face-off, Raiders killing another penalty as the puck bounces out to center ice, backhanded back inside Massena territory. Maxwell picks it up, flips it ahead, finds the hole, and it goes out to center ice. Rolls on end to the Alex Bay blue line as they try to control it there. Devin Simons to the blue line out to center ice. Puck knocked away, picked up by the Raiders. They'll dump it right back down the ice. That was a good play by David Rogers. About a minute left in the man advantage. 7-1 Massena leading. Here comes the Bay out to center ice. And they move it to the Massena line. Bouncing puck finally poke-checked in the zone. Evan Labarge back after it. He'll take it in behind the net over skates. And the puck sits there. Picked up there by the Purple Ghost. That's Wills. Wills has it knocked away by Danny Miller. Miller loses it. Wills again takes it behind the net. Looks to center, but it's knocked away. And the Raiders will dump it down the ice. We got another penalty. And this time it's going to be on the Ghosts, where we got a holding call right in front of the net. So that'll even things up here, and it'll be 4-on-4 plus the goaltenders. For the next 31 seconds, the Raiders will have a brief power play.
Murray Simons going to the box for a minute and a half holding. Just a few seconds ago, Captain Danny Miller, what a great skater is. He just reminds me of Paul Coffey out there, but he had number 20, 22, Jim Hagan lined up in his sights right here and Hagan didn't see him to the last second. He just avoided it, but Miller had him lined up with a great hip check.
Raiders out there now. Eddie Slade. Slade and Sean Petrie will be up front. Miller and Labarge will be at the blue line. It's going to be Trevor Garlock taking the face-off for Alex Bay. Inside the Bay territory. Off the draw, Raiders win it. Comes to Labarge at the point. Goes to Miller. Back to Labarge. Labarge trying to flip it in, but it's intercepted and dumped out to center ice. He waited a little too long on the pass. Here's Miller with it in his own end. Turns it around. Oh, boy. Pretty smooth. Headman pass, Petrie. Petrie banks it off the boards in the corner. Miller's going to chase it down behind the net, gets there first, leaves it for Petrie. Petrie's got Labarge at the point. No, he's going to go right across the middle, and I don't think Miller saw it coming until it was by him. And now the Bay will dump it down the ice. And I think, it's the penalty is elapsed on Massena anyway, so the Raiders have a man advantage for about 50 seconds. Here comes Massena moving down the ice. Raiders take it across. Slade drops it for Tubolino, who's back after his penalty, stops in the corner. Looks for Petrie. Petrie at the 45, makes the move, gets the shot, and fires it wide. It'll come around on the other side. Back playing the point is Eddie Slade on this power play. Here's Tubolino, goes to Petrie. Petrie to the dot, back to Tubolino, steps in front, his shot, he scores a goal. A.J. Tubolino makes it 8-1 on the power play.
Great Raiders using that overload to perfection. They had Tubolino down below the goal line and Petrie along the boards, and out at the 45, I forget who they had out there, but didn't matter. But those two, Tubolino and Petrie, give and go. Petrie gave it to Tubolino. Tubolino stepped out from behind. It was Eddie Slade, 24. Tubolino stepped out from the goal line, walked right out in front, had plenty of time, and fired a low shot, stick side, to beat goaltender
AJ,
Fountain.
The captain with 2 goals. Here comes Massena. Supernov passes ahead. It goes to Zepi Ogene. Ogene in the corner. Ogene gets tied up, gets knocked down. Where's the puck? It goes back to the 45. It's intercepted. Bouncing into the circle, and it's poke-checked out to center ice. Here comes the Bay, and they'll just dump it right on Leroy Swamp from center ice. He'll steer it in behind the net for Ian Maxwell. Maxwell rips it around the boards, intercepted, knocked back behind. Maxwell picks it up again for Massena. He'll bounce it around on the left side. In the corner. Raiders trying to move it ahead. That's Matt Hatch. Ahead to Supernaut. Supernaut moving on the wing to Zeppi Ogene. Ogene takes it across. Was there an offsides? Apparently not. I thought maybe Matt might have been a little ahead of the play. What do you think, Coach?
I do also, but they've got a better look than we have, Jerry.
Here comes Massena right back into the zone. It's Jake Whitcup. Whitcup to Supernaut. Backhander goes off a leg in the corner. I'll tell you, this line's acquitted themselves well here this evening.
Yes, they have.
Here's the pass in front, and a backhander trickles in. Save made. Puck goes off the end of the stick to Hatch. Hatch will dump it in behind again. Supernaut back there. He's just a little guy, but he gets the puck to Hatch. Hatch centering pass. Oh, Miller was pinching in. And that wasn't Miller, that was Trent Thomas, and he almost got it. Now the puck along the boards. Here's Thomas. Nice move. Nice move again. Steps in front. The puck bouncing into the corner. In front. Here's the shot. Thomas bounces free again. Back toward the blue line. They move it around. Look at the pass work. Here's Danny Miller's shot. Save made. Rebound. Into the corner it goes. The whistle blows as the buzzer sounds. And I'll tell you what, a shooting gallery for Robert Fountain, but he kept the puck out of the net.
Good job. That line out there, a prior line of Supernal, Hatch, and Ogene were doing wonders. And then the Thomas line came out. And
as we get ready to start this third period, and the puck is dropped, and we're underway as it comes back into the Massena zone. Raiders try to control the puck, bouncing around in the corner. And around the boards, picked up by Kyle Cameron. He just flips it ahead, but not out of the zone. Dumped right back in behind the net for Jake Whitcup. Whitcup with it. He'll flip it on the wing. Around to Petrie. Petrie moves it ahead to the blue line, and it's kept in momentarily. Now Cameron takes it ahead. He'll flip it off. Here's a chance for Tubolino. He gets tied up, then feeds it free. Cameron's all alone in front. Waits, shoots. Save made. Fountain makes the save. Looked behind him, but he had it in his equipment. And he'll hold on for the face-off. All of a sudden, Kyle Cameron was all by himself in front of the goalie.
He wanted to pass to Jared Bradish in front, but the defenseman elected to take Bradish, so Cameron just walked right out of the corner and looking, and credit to goaltender Fountain. He stayed on his feet and made Kyle make the first move, and Kyle tried to go top corner, stick side, but Fountain beat him.
Off the face-off. Raiders have Rogers' line out there now. Rogers dumps it in behind the net. Hadler after it there, trying to come up with it. Also throwing a check is Petrie. And Petrie picks up the loose puck into the corner. Whoops, almost lost it, then gets it back again. Gets tied up, feeds it to Hadler. Hadler tied up. Puck slides free, and here comes Alex Bay's Styler Bogart. Bogart into the Massena zone on the off wing. He's ridden off the play. The puck bounces free for Dave Rogers. Rogers flips it around the boards for Petrie. Petrie bounces it ahead of the blue line. It trickles out to center ice. Picked up by Horan, who will dump it into the corner. In behind the net, stolen away by Alex Bay. Puck bouncing along the boards. And finally, it's free and picked up by Rogers again for Massena. Rogers' backhand pass off a stick into the corner, Alex Bay territory. Apparently, it missed the stick because they're going to call icing.
Well, one thing I've noticed, Jerry, through two periods of play, which I really like, when the bench yells for a change, boy, those guys put the brakes on and they head for the bench, and that's so important. It seems like a meaningless thing, but it is so important. How much the right time of ice time out there when you're strong. If you stay out too long, it's just problems.
Off the face, puck in the circle. Raiders clear it. It bounces out to center ice. Intercepted by Sims. He'll lift it high in the air. Gloved by Leroy Swamp. He'll leave it in behind for Danny Miller. Miller will dump it on the other side for Ian Maxwell. Maxwell doesn't clear the zone, gets it back again. Trying to flip it ahead. It bounces along. Maxwell throws a check. The puck free. Squirts into the corner. Racing back after it is Trent Thomas from Massena. This time Thomas hits the wing and out to center ice it comes. Wing-to-wing pass. Down the left wing side, Eddie Slade's got a step. Slade, short side shot, but a nice poke check by the goaltender Fountain breaks up the play. Puck in the corner. Bouncing around. It's in behind the official. And he says, where is it? Comes back to the point. Here's Miller, cranks it up. His shot scores a goal. Danny Miller, low to the ice. I don't think Fountain saw it till it was in the match.
No, I think he lost his focus on it. He was probably dwelling on the great poke check he had made on Eddie Slade, and that just came back to the point. And Danny Miller one time they just wanted to get it towards the net, and Fountain just somehow lost it. He should, 99 and 9/10% of the time he'll stop that one, but unfortunately that 1/10 of he didn't, and it's 9-1.
Off the face-off, Raiders control at their own blue line, D-to-D pass. Alan Borden has it poke checked away as the shot comes in on Swamp, and he kicks it into the corner. Puck in behind, picked up by Hatch. He'll step by the check, flips it ahead out to center ice. Here comes Zeppi Ogene. Ogene trying to feed it ahead to Matt Hatch. Will he catch it? Yes, he did. He goes to Ogene. Ogene in behind. Back to the point. Here's the drive. Oh, nice glove save on a great shot. Nice low shot taken by Evan Labarge. Nice pass. Nice play all the way around.
Beautiful play. Labarge stepping down from that left point, and maybe Fountain's best save of the night.
Nice all the way around. Good pass plays and a good save. Off the draw. One by the Bay. They clear, not out of the zone. Labarge, but his pass is poked away. Inside Massena territory. It trickles, and Labarge doesn't clear the zone. Here's a shot from the dot. Leroy makes the save. Puck cleared. Poke check to the blue line. Not out. Kept in at the point. Nicely by Alex Bay. Here's a drive. Goes in behind the net. Labarge kicks it into the corner. After it there is Loy, who has the goal. He can't control. Raiders break out. Here comes Hatch with it. Hatch trying to barge his way through. The puck trickles across the blue line right back out again. There's going to be a penalty. An interference call as Hatch got tied up. And I think that penalty is going to go to Ryan Loy as Hatch was tied up in front of the Alex Bay box.
Yeah, and if he won a 9-1 game and you're you give that one, I might have looked the other way on that one, but I'm sure it was a penalty, but Coach B-side is shaking his head, and I don't blame him.
Yeah. In other words, what's the point?
Yeah.
Of course, you know what they say.
Yes.
You're not supposed to consider the score,
right.
but that's not true. All right, Raiders on the power play here. They're 1 for 1 on the power play tonight. And here comes Petrie, looking to dump it in the zone. Tubolino chasing in after it. In the corner, he'll flip it to Petrie at the 45. Here's Petrie, looks. He's got Miller low, or I should say Tubolino low. Knocked away. It hit the side of the net, actually. Puck clear to the blue line. Miller is there. Miller steps in, trying to dump it in the corner, but it's intercepted. Comes back to Petrie, who's taken the place at the blue line. Massena moves. Tubolino's pass goes way back to the point. Nice job to keep it in on the other side by Eddie Slade. He'll rip it around the boards to Tubolino. Tubolino to Petrie. Petrie steps by the check, kind of lost his edge, and the puck in the skates, clear to the blue line. Miller can't keep that one in, down the ice. Leroy Swamp will leave it for Eddie Slade. Slade, who drops back to play the point on this power play, steps by the check and starts back the other way for Massena with about 25 seconds left in the man advantage. Puck dumped off the Tubolino poke check into the zone. Tubolino chasing it in the corner from Massena. Leaves it for Petrie, who centers it. Nobody there for Massena, and it's dumped down the ice. Looks like the Raiders will be 1 for 2 on the power play tonight, as this one hasn't gone quite so well.
Jerry, something I love to see, though. Coach B-Size down 9-1, but he's still instructing on the bench over there. Love to see that.
Hey, every time you're on the ice, it's a chance for the kids to learn.
You bet.
Tubolino throws a check. The puck squirts free. Penalty's up. They try to break it out of there. They had a man all by himself out by the blue line, but the whistle blows as Miller brings it in offsides. We're down to 10:31, 9-1 on the IceHawks custom screen printing scoreboard for the Red Raiders.
And explaining that, just taking a bit further, as a player came off the ice, the Bay player, the coach went right to him and very gently explained to him what he wanted him to do or what he didn't do, and he was motioning, and the youngster was shaking his head, yes. That's what you want to do, teaching all the time. Good job.
Off the face-off, Raiders control, moving it ahead. Here's Slade. Slides off his stick, intercepted, but not out of the zone. Bounces right on, and Fountain has to steer it in the corner. Picked up on the defense by Caputo. Moving along the boards, out to center ice. They got a man breaking, but he hit his backside, and the Raiders come up with a Jacob Whitcup. Whitcup getting bothered. The puck squirts free, gets it back again. Little help there for Whitcup by Adam Smith. Moving the puck along the boards, it's Smith dumping it in the zone. Slade gets by the check. Centering pass right across the goal mouth, but in too deep was Trent Thomas. Back to the point. Labarge is there to flip it into the corner. Puck kicked ahead by the Bay. Back to the point, Labarge. This time he'll wind up and fire it in behind the net. Puck along the boards. Thomas, nice pass back to the point. Here's a drive deflected. Thomas picks it up behind the net for Massena. Centering pass in front. Slade just deflected it wide, digs it out. Wraparound backhand shot save. Rebound shot save. And a good opportunity for Smith, and the save made. And finally the Bay is going to ice the puck to take off the pressure. And a lot of pressure it is by Massena.
Well, actually, the Bay was down a man because number 24, Devin Simons, had lost his stick, and he was just wandering around out there trying to get into the play. And actually, they were playing a man short, and good move by the Bay to dump it. A couple of good saves in that sequence by Fountain. In fact, he should have covered up on that last one and got a face-off.
Tubolino back out there for Massena. Off the face-off, puck along the boards to the blue line, kept in there by Jared Bradish. To Tubolino behind the net. Tubolino goes to Cameron. Back to Tubolino. Back to Cameron behind the net. Cameron trying to get by the check. Here's Cameron circling. He's still got some room. Gets by another check. Finally, he's tied up and double teamed, and the puck cleared around the boards. But Miller pinches in. Here's Miller. Step by one. Oh, Miller can dangle. Steps in front. Backhander. Here's the shot. He scores a goal. Danny Miller gets another one, and the Raiders make it double digits. 10-1.
And I think that's a hat trick for Danny Miller. We didn't announce his second goal just a while back, but he's had the last two goals. Is that right, Sal? So 9th and 10th, Danny Miller picking the hat trick, and that was just a thing of beauty after Kyle Cameron had done some yeoman's work in the corner, and the Bay defenseman couldn't stop him. Miller dropped down from the left point, picked it up along the wall, in behind the goal line, deked a couple players, walked right out in front, waited, got Fountain to go down, and backhanded one high up over Fountain in underneath the crossbar. Beautiful individual effort by Danny Miller.
Nice backhand. And Danny gets the hat trick. I don't know if that's his first career hat trick, but he got the puck. 8:52 and counting left in the third period. Raiders up on the coach's corner scoreboard now 10-1. As I guess I can say it now, Coach McLennan. I was talking to one of the dads who shall remain nameless, and we were talking about, how's the season going to go and what's going to happen. He said, well, I don't know how the season's going to go, but I'll tell you one thing. We played this team in midgets, and this team is composed of not only Alex Bay kids, but also Watertown and OFA kids, and he says we smoked them. We're going to smoke them tonight. He was right.
Oh, boy, big time.
So the Raiders up 10-1. That would constitute a smoking, I would think, as the puck trickles out to center ice.
Not only that, but they've played well and worked hard in all aspects of the game.
Yeah, you've mentioned a couple of times, I like to see that. So there's things out there you're liking.
You bet, and I'm sure the coaching staff is going to be pleased. And on the other side of the coin, the Bay is getting beat handily, but they're still hustling out there. They're still skating hard, and as we mentioned a second ago, the coaching staff still coaching. So that's what it's all about. Sometimes you're overmatched, and you can't do anything about that. Just keep working hard.
Yeah, we've seen it go the other way a few times, haven't we? Off the face-off, puck trickles around the boards to the blue line, dumped back in the corner. There to pick it up is Ian Maxwell, bangs it off the boards to the neutral zone, right back to the Massena line. And it's kept right at the line by the Raiders and dumped in the corner. And that was Alan Borden. He'll flip it around the boards, intercepted, trickles behind the net. Borden is there, though, for Massena, stepping by the check, takes it in the corner, and then drops it back to Maxwell. Maxwell will rip it around the other way to the blue line, not out of the zone. Back in the corner. David Rogers loses. Here's the shot, way wide. Puck back to the other point. Dumped in the corner by the Bay, and this is the longest they've had it in the Massena zone in quite a while. Puck cleared around the boards. It'll be kept in at the point by Hagen. Hagen dumps it into the corner. Raiders pick it up. Hagen gets the shot off. Swamp comes out to stick it up into the wall, and I'm not sure that was on net, but nonetheless, Leroy says enough of that. Let's get a line change, and we'll have a face-off in the Massena zone.
Those 9th and 10th goals, both by Captain Danny Miller. The first one with the assist to Eddie Slade at the 157 mark, and then at the 6:04 mark with A.J. Tubolino and Kyle Cameron picking up the assist.
7:06 left in the third period. 10-1 Massena on the IceHawks custom screen printing scoreboard. Raiders control the puck in their own end. Flipping it to the blue line, not out of the zone, bouncing around. After it there is Jacob Whitcup. Whitcup has it knocked away, trying to get it back, and does. Here's Whitcup behind the net. Whitcup looks, flips it ahead to the blue line, bounces out to center ice. It's gloved, but then lost, and here comes Massena. Into the zone, it's Eddie Slade. Slade has to turn it back, as the Raiders will be offsides. He'll drop to Evan Labarge. Labarge circles in his own end. Here's his headman, stolen away, but it goes into the corner. Whitcup there, he gets checked. Puck slides free. Whitcup stays with it and moves it around the horn to the blue line. Raiders look to move it out to center ice and do. Here comes Massena. Whitcup, he carries the dumps from the red line, apparently not quite to the red line, and icing will be the call on Massena. We're down to 6:19 left, third period, 10-1 Massena. Raiders on the road for a couple after this game. They'll head down to the Alex Bay area, although they'll be playing Indian River at the Bonnie Castle rink just outside Alex Bay on Friday night at 7, and then they'll take on Thousand Islands Saturday afternoon at 1:30 at the Clayton Rec Park Arena. Of course, you'll hear both games live here on WMSA, and you're invited to join us for that. Off the face-off, Raiders break, 2-on-2. Actually, mini 2-on-1, but now they get back as the puck trickles to Tubolino. Coming out to break up the play nicely, though, is the goaltender Fountain. Here's Tubolino trying to go back to the blue line, but it bounces away from Pat Horan and back into the Massena zone where Danny Miller picks it up. Miller has a problem behind the net, but stays with it. And looks to flip it ahead to the blue line. Tubolino, bounce pass, racing for it. Here comes Tubolino coming up with a puck. No, getting back nicely to poke check is Devin Simons. Nice play by Simons. Now the puck squirts free in behind. Raiders pick it up in front. Here's the shot. Here's the save. As stepping in front and finding no opposition was Jared Bradish. He got the shot off, and now we're going to have some penalties as a little bit of a scrum right in front of the net.
Little frustration. I think it's all maybe precipitated by the goaltender that time. He's had 10 go by him and many more. That time the seas parted. We've seen so many times. Jared Bradish this time walked right out of the corner and ripped a shot at him. But just prior to that, great play. Didn't result in a goal, but Kyle Cameron, his own end, a great pass to spring Bradish and Tubolino away on a 2-on-1. And Tubolino went to the net. Great pass across by Bradish, just misconnecting, but it was a super play all around. Hard skating, nice passing, looking out for each other.
A pretty good defensive play, actually, by Simons as he got back and got a stick on that pass. Off the draw, we're skating 4-on-4 plus the goaltenders. Here's a shot from the point, not much on it, as Alan Borden didn't quite get as much wood, I don't think, as he would have liked. Puck bounces in the corner. You think so, Coach?
He wanted to hit his 3-wood, and he hit his 9-iron.
Here comes an opportunity for Petrie. Shot right on. Gets his own rebound. Backhand, and he didn't get the shot off. It goes behind the net, but he stays with it. Finally, he's ridden out of the play. The puck squirts back to the point. Borden winds up. His shot. The save is made. And the puck bounces free, and here comes the Bay. Out to center ice. Nope. Poke checked away. And here comes Hadler. He's knocked off the puck, and it's picked up by Hagen. Hagen will turn it back the other way. Here's Hagen in on the right side into the Massena zone. He's taken out of the play by Labarge, and the puck picked up by Eddie Slade. Here's Slade behind his own net, flipping it ahead, and down the ice it goes. I got to tell you, for an 8th grader, that Slade's a big kid.
He's played well tonight. He's been all over the ice.
Here comes Alex Bay back the other way. Dustin Robbins gets by the defense. Nice play. Gets a shot off and fired it wide. Puck clear to the blue line, bouncing out to center ice. It'll trickle back in the Alex Bay line. Under 4.5 to go. 13 seconds left in the matching minors, and we'll be back to full strength. Bouncing puck at the blue line. Kept in there by Ian Maxwell. Now it bounces by him and out to center ice. Back the other way comes Simons. Centering pass right across the goal mouth, goes back to the point. Here's a shot. Swamp makes the save. Rebound goes in the net, and the Ghosts pick up their second goal of the game.
I do believe that's going to be Jameson Wills that probably will get the goal, and the assist will go to number 4. That's Aaron Beebe, who shot it from the right point, and Jameson Wills cruising in front. Looked like the Raider defenseman was going to tie him up, but somehow Wills got a stick loose and got it by goaltender Leroy Swamp.
That'll make it 10-2 in favor of Massena. Under 4 minutes to play in the third period. Raiders control the puck in their own end. Pat Horan flips it ahead to the Bay line. He'll dump it to the Massena line, across the blue line, right back out to center ice it goes. Bouncing puck comes to the Bay line, bouncing around. Miller, here comes Miller again. Takes it across, goes by the D. Miller's shot, he fired it wide this time, looking for his 4th goal of the night. He's got, the puck bouncing in front. It comes to Miller, centering pass, in front. Here's an opportunity, and they just can't get the backhander off his Hatch. And the puck finally cleared around the boards by the defense of Alex Bay, but not out of the zone. As it's dumped in the corner, picked up by Thompson of Alex Bay. Doesn't clear it. Kept in by Pat Horan. Pat trying to pass it in front of the net. Nobody could get a piece of it. Now Hatch after it. Matt Hatch, I should say. Puck comes free to the blue line. Miller at the point. He'll flip it to the 45. Hatch takes a check. Doesn't know where the puck is. It's in his skates. There's a battle for it. Finally comes free to Supernaut. Trying to slide it through. Back to Miller. His shot. Ooh, that deflected just wide. Zepiogene gets a piece of it. Goes to Hatch, centering pass. Supernaut takes a whack, but it's bouncing. He can't get the puck or stick on the puck. And finally, Alex Bay is going to ice it with 2:42 left in the third period. As the Raiders, that line of Supernaut, Hatch, and Zepiogene all over the place.
Yeah, they've had every shift out there. They've been involved, and very, again, not big, except Ogene's fairly good size, 175. But the other two, shifty and nice passing, looking for each other all the time. That second Bay goal, Will's got the goals, but they gave the assist to Garlock, not to Beebe. So that coming at the 11:03 mark.
10-2, Massena leads on the IceHawks custom screen printing scoreboard. And back to the point. Here's a shot off a leg. We will tell you that we will be picking an IceHawks custom screen printing scoreboard player of the game for both teams at the end of this broadcast, as Brian Hatch has kindly donated T-shirts. We don't have them right now, but we will get them, and we'll send the Alex Bay players team T-shirt down to them, and the Massena T-shirt will get to the winner from Massena. And, well, I'll tell you, it's going to be tough. A lot of Massena Raiders have played well.
They certainly have.
A bouncing puck in the zone to the blue line and out to center ice. Picked up there by the Massena D. That's Alan Borden. He'll flip it right back inside Alex Bay territory. Under 2 minutes to go. Puck in the corner. Bouncing into the slot. In behind the net now, picked up by Petrie. Petrie gets tied up. Still has the puck. Nice pass. Tubolino winds. His shot trickles, and the save is made as it hit the defenseman's stick and stopped almost, and then rolled in on goaltender Robert Fountain, and he'll hold on for the faceoff.
1 minute, 39 seconds left in this third period, and the Raiders a convincing win over the Alex Bay Purple Ghost. I should say the Alexandria
Central
yeah. Purple Ghost. Each first game for each club beginning the 204-205 season.
Off the faceoff. Raiders trying to control the puck, and they do as it bounces into the corner. Jared Bradish, centering pass right across the goal mouth. Nobody there. The puck goes to the blue line and still in the zone. Miller somehow kept it in the zone. Still has it in the zone. Slides it into the corner. Here's Tubolino. He fired it high and wide. He's not going to get a much better chance than that, and he just missed the net. Puck in the corner now, racing for it. It trickles out to center ice. Miller's there again. Miller flips ahead. And Tubolino was coming out of the zone. He's going to be called for an offsides with 1:04 left in the period.
Yeah, the clock.
Oh, the clock is running.
Yeah, that's.
We're playing running time here.
Time up. Oh, and the official spotted it.
Does it matter?
No, it doesn't. And Coach Bisau is wondering over there, but I would say, hey, let it run. They're just, I think, trying to.
Well, they're going to put some time on the clock.
Put some time on the clock.
Yeah, I think it was, about a minute 4?
I would say about a minute, maybe minute 1.
Minute 1?
We'll see what they put back on. It's down to 53 seconds right now. There's no question it did run on, but they're just going to not start it for several seconds.
Oh, there we go. A minute 2?
Minute 2. Okay.
All right, you said a minute 1. I said a minute 4. You're closer, Coach. Now it's a minute 1. Here comes the Bay across the blue line. Miller steals the puck. Danny Miller just flips ahead on the wing. Out to center ice. Tubolino trying to break by, but he can't. Bouncing puck back inside Massena territory. Racing for it there is Garlock. He gets a shot, and the save, well, I'm not sure if it was a save, but it was blocked by Smoke. Puck around the boards, or Swamp, I should say. Down the ice it goes. Wave off the icing. Good call. Tubolino steps by the check. Here's AJ in the corner. Takes it out by the blue line. He circles, looking, has it poke checked away. And that's one time they didn't pass the puck, and look what happens.
There was no one. The defenseman had pinched down. He wanted to go back there, but there wasn't a defenseman there.
Around the boards it goes. It trickles out to center ice. Miller gets it right back again. He'll flip it ahead with about 10 seconds left. Here's the pass ahead from Slade. Trying to go to Cameron, but it's a delay offsides. Raiders clear the zone, and they're going to win the hockey game and go to 1-0 on the year with a 10-2 victory over Alex Bay. So Massena beats the Bay 10-2, and a good outing for Massena, a good first outing. So, again, the Raiders go to 1-0 on the season. Again, our final score. The Massena Red Raiders defeat the Alexandria Central Purple Ghosts 10-2. Stay tuned. The post-game show is next.